Good morning, Azeroth. It is the 11th of April 2025. Grab your morning beverage and welcome to the stream. Today we'll be tackling some Bountiful delves at tier 11, see if we can get some gear upgrades, grabbing some crests if we don't, at the very least keep that ball rolling so we can tackle the underpin come Monday. Without any further ado, let's get stuck in. Hope you're all doing well today. It's the end of the week. Well done on getting through. Take it steady. Keep yourselves hydrated. Enjoy your weekend. You've got this. Alrighty then, let's see what delves are offered to us today. We have Fungal Folly, Kriegvold's Rest, Excavation Site 9. Not the Spiral Weave again, please. Oh, thank goodness. Wait, where is the fourth one? Am I blind? I missed it? Oh, it's all free in the Isle of Dawn. Goodness me. Alright. Start in the mines, go with Folly, do Kriegvold, and then head down to the other in the Ring and Deeps. You'll be right. Tier 11 so far has been reasonably smooth, a little bit tanky, but we've managed. We haven't hit our 4 set tier bonus yet, which gives us a little bit less throughput than I'd like, but it'll be okay. Overall, our item level's doing aight. We've been fine. Occasionally, we'll pull a few too many, and it'll be a spot of bother, but for the most part, we'll be good. Now, I have to apologise. My voice is still a little rough from yesterday. I'm glad I stopped the evening stream a little bit earlier than intended. I want some meat and potatoes, why not? Now we'll need more for the underpin, but we've got plenty in the bank at the moment. I'll need to change Brand's bits and bobs as well. Yeah, we were using the dinosaurs, whereas before it was just the mantle. I think we just keep the dinosaurs on for this. The rocket fuel, I'd rather have the cola for the stat boost. Which does not immediately give me the cola, so we go out and back in again. Kind of annoying, that. Small oversight, but such as it is. There we go. Get our Gouda. Lovely jubbly. Got a drink. And off we go. One where we get ore and avoid the minecarts. I don't like that this is the second time this one's popped up and it's these same web buggers who fly about. I really don't like them. Just because you spend so much time trying to ensure like you're taking out the nest, but they just keep spawning. Oh my goodness. Oh, cheers, Bran. Don't fight him right in that small bit. I can't help standing in it, Bran. Can he move? Cracking start to the morning.
I don't have a target. That's treasure close by.
Oh, tiny dinosaurs. Gonna get me killed. It's still a far cry from the early days of Season 1's delving, where those Threadmancers were absolutely demolishing me. It certainly feels like the balance has been adjusted a lot more compared to what it was then. It just feel a lot better, to be fair. Why? It didn't go for me either. It's just kind of lopping about in the air. They just continually drop webs without giving me a means to remove them. And yeah, we can just wait. It's just I find them really annoying. Unless they go down quick. That's not fair, Gabe. You spawned the goddamn web right under my foot. Go, mini T-Rexes. I'm helping.
I'm out of range.
But it's hard to tell how much they're doing compared to a stat boost. I mean, they bodied that one. Make sure to get our curiosities so we can keep finding sodas. Look at this little army. It's a rock in a bottle. How the complex engineering behind how such a large rock ended up in such a small bottle is a mystery to you. But your target enemy might have an idea. Stun it for 3 seconds. Very silly. Even noticed that last time. I should really be making use of those active items more. It's just one of those things where I'm a lazy beggar. See, it barely had half a second that they spawned. Thing with the webbed ones that just appear is they do despawn eventually, so it's kind of not worth doing the DPS. Kind of wait them out more than anything. Usually. Unless they change that. Question mark. You watch, I'll get one of them down and maybe both of them. But in all likelihood, I'll get to about half health and suddenly they'll vanish. We're getting hit by all of it this morning. They did change it. Maybe they actually stay and fight now, so you have to deal with them. Nope, one kind of just vanished. And you can't loot them either, which is just straight up robbery. Do it like that. Right, there's underpin number 1 of 4. Beautiful. And get that web next. Right, no ore hiding around here, just the one. Give me some cola. That will take the tinder boxes.
That's more like it.
No agent for use. We can get him down before he calls him again. Don't think so. call you broker. Nope. God damn it. Good morning, Emilis in the chat. Hope you're doing well today. How did your foray into Final Fantasy go yesterday, assuming you got on last night? Was it back into the swing of things pretty quick, or immediately overwhelmed and why did I do this? Panic. Start again. No.
Smell that? It's treasure. I know it. We're close.
Brad. I suppose eggs can be a treasure, but... Ooh, just a full-on nullstone. Very kind. Alright, onwards and upwards. I'm glad you got through that initial learning process and are having a good time with it. Which class are you leveling? What's piqued your interest? Get that miner up, attack this crab. Shell for you. Ow. I need to take many more of those. Alright, Wake will do it. Ah, the sneaky stabby stab. Oh yeah, the palace was the said roguelite thing. I vaguely recall. Stepped on a landmine and died. But oh no. I had quite forgotten it was a place of devious traps.
Let's have a quick sit down to
I never liked the idea of, oh, just a random one shot out of the blue and I'm buggered. Thanks, game. Memory serves, it wasn't necessarily clear where the traps were either, but it's been a long time to be fair, so I couldn't say with any certainty. There's our Gouda buff. Continue. These fur collar mines here, it's easy not to miss the underpin dudes because they're usually just there. Try and catch them on the cart. Bring the bombs. Get an item that reveals the traps or removes them from the current floor. Well, that helps at least. I suppose it's one of those things where the more you do it over time, the easier it will be to understand how to deal with it. It seemed like a fun way to level. I don't know if it's the most efficient in that game. I have no idea. But the ideal of a repeatable, grindable, towery type thing is something I wish WoW did with Torghast. Or at the very least, implemented elsewhere within the game. At least until they can make more of a story experience whilst leveling. Oh, the web spinners up here want to get straight into combat. Swine. This piece of garbage and its goddamn webs. Thank you, T-Rexes. Okay, big fellas. Oh, ow, 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 ow. Thank you, Brad. Suddenly bodied. Now, at least now you know. And next time, perhaps you can stock up on a few. I loved the idea of Torghast, and the initial goes I was like, oh, this could be pretty fun. And then over time, it was a matter of first player perception and how tied it was to player power meant that it was just getting lambasted all over the place. So it was hard to enjoy it in spite of that. And then as much as I was trying to enjoy it, it just was like more enemies, red more enemies, more greeny more enemies, more enemies. And for that kind of thing, you really need variety to carry a lot of the weight. And unfortunately, it simply didn't with all of how focused it was on the Maw. And I think if that had been the only Maw related bit of content the whole time, that would have probably been okay. But because that was, you know, the entire expansion for a lot of it, it just grated on you. I remember one I did with a mate of mine, Aiden, who's been in the chat a few times, where we were getting through it. It was like one of our first times in. We didn't understand the mechanics. We didn't really know what was going on. And the timer went. The big giant bugger who chases you and one-shots you spawned whilst we were killing the boss. And the boss was killing us at the time. I can't remember why. And it was a mad dash final run to try and get the boss down without the big fella getting to us. And it ended up, the big dude was right in the boss arena and literally smacking us. And I'm taunting with Divine Shield, kind of just legging it on his druid. And we just managed to get the boss down and leg it to the next room. But that was kind of the one and only time where it felt so engaging. It never fell up to it as well. I'm just in the chat. There's a trap that turns you into a frog as well. Very, very devious. Devious indeed. Hopefully that's not one that can happen necessarily in the middle of combat. That would be very cruel and very mean. Bodyguard. How many is that? Hey, that's all the underpin groups. Fantastic. One more miner, and then it's boss time. To be fair, we only did a couple of runs together. He's been a very busy individual. And it certainly felt like it would have been more enjoyable having company for. Just trying to get through it solo just ended up being an effort in how much can you contend with the frustration and the same feeling time and time again, unfortunately. I still hope either they rework it or rejig it or add in more biomes and areas and do something with that concept going forward. Because again, I don't think the concept's inherently bad. There was just so much around it that was a problem. And it being limited to the Maw were the biggest issues. I just whiffed my interrupt. God damn it. Again, the dots aren't as punishing as they were for the first season, so we're alright. Grab your Brand's potions. Blue ones don't work on the boss. Mitigate that damage. Keep yourself topped off. Mind the singular minecart. I've said it every time and I'll continue to do so. I just wish, especially now we're at tier 11, that the bosses just had some more mechanics. Or the ones that were there were expanded upon, like rather than just the spider person pulling one cart, they should be pulling 4 with variable timings in different directions. Because at the moment the main worry is that its auto attacks and just bopping me might be what gets me down. That's never fun. Nope, no curse from you, thank you. For the moment, they're just kind of tanky, and that's kind of it. Get that. Again, still don't know what this is like on other classes. Maybe it's a lot more challenging. It's some kind of mythic variant to delves. You get it to tier 11, maybe you unlock a 12 delves. No, I don't want keys. I don't want timers. Dear God, I hate bloody timers. Don't like feeling rushed. Make enough stupid mistakes. I don't need a clock to remind me of, oh, you've wasted your time. I don't know, Mythic has the, is more generous with the, what's it called? The earlier keys where, and at least the base version, I think, doesn't have timers these days, as of the last patch. Which that's actually encouraging, I think, for me and anyone else who wanted to try Mythic. But I just want to see a few more complex mechanics that aren't just, it boop you harder, it have more health. But again, I've got to remember, this is the first iteration of Delves through an expansion. I'm hoping Midnight they'll be doing stuff that pushes it a little farther. Gotta have some faith.
Nice fight.
Warband gear. Nemesis box.
Now stronger by the second.
Oh, a lovely brand. Straight to level 60. I still think he gets to 70 now. Not an upgrade. Got some brand stuff though.
Nice fight.
The buff is a little better, but doesn't last any longer. Meh. Meh. Ain't worth it. Get our crests though. Beautiful. That's how we get our gear up to Mythic. And the changes to tier 9 and above actually make these delves worth doing now. Like last season we did like a few tier 11 delves. It's like, right, the gear isn't any better than tier 8. We do it once for the achievement and to unlock Zekfir. And then there's no point doing tier 11. At least now you can get those upgrade crests. And they are worth doing. And they're also geared more towards the solo player and not to Mythic Raiders, which was a very big problem in the first season of Delves. Because shit would like free shot you with auto attacks, and that just felt like garbage. Time for Screamy Mushrooms next. Get our caller. Get our gooder. It's rescuing the scouts. You can see what kind of Torghast style stuff influenced some of the things in Delves. While they're not procedural, picking one of, with Undermine now, 4 quests within each Delve helps keep the variance up a little bit. I just want the mechanics to do so.
You won't hit a hole. Excellent got you down.
Thank you, Bran. And as much as I love Bran, I look forward to however they approach the next companion. Talked about it before. In Midnight, it'll be an elf. Unlikely to be Illyria, because she's been in the story so much. I reckon it'll be a son. It'll be Arathor taking us about. Maybe Lady Liadrin. If we want to split Horde and Alliance, you could do Lady Liadrin for the Horde, and you could do Varessa Windrunner for the Alliance. That would probably work out okay, but I imagine, given Bran doesn't have voice lines for everything in Delves, it probably won't do more than the one. I think as a baseline, what they've got solid. It's a great way to gear up. It's an avenue of endgame play that I really appreciate having as a solo player. But we've certainly some work to do. Again, how many years I have to remember did it take for raids to get to where they are now? And there are still missteps. Same with dungeons. As something that's an evergreen endgame pillar, it's going to take its time to fill out the kinks. I have faith. I think they'll get there. Whether it takes Midnight, Last Titan, or both to do so remains to be seen. I think Midnight might be experimenting with a few more new ideas, see how we go, and then Last Titan should be solidifying everything they've learned from the prior two expansions and all that feedback. 100%, Emilis, 100%. They just need to refine it. Give me a rare. As I've said on prior streams, I really want them to make it more unique with the bosses. Like, a lot of the time, no matter what version of a delve it is, it will have the same boss at the end. Not every time, but a chunk of the time. Or they're reused across multiple dungeons, and that kind of feels like, yeah. You wouldn't get away with that with dungeons. You know what I mean? Every dungeon has, to some extent, unique bosses and mechanics. You know, there's stuff like Hydras or big Murlocs and crap that tend to be pretty similar to others. But there's been less and less of that over the years. Maybe it's the same type of enemy, but at least they all do different stuff. But given they have put it in that category of you've got raids, you've got dungeons, and now you've got delves, they know they have to keep bumping up that side of it. And I do like the double question mark boss at the end. Zekvir was alright, it was frustrating, but it was alright, it was good fun. Most of the mechanics were just mitigating damage and making sure you didn't stand in shit, though. Which is fair enough. Just very punishing. And the new Underpin one, which we'll be back to on Monday. Gear seems like even less of a bother than it was with Zekvir. But it is using the mechanics to keep on top of it. And at the moment, that's kicking bombs about a football field and trying to blow up ads before they blow up you. I don't know how balanced that is multiplayer compared to solo. But at the very least, solo, I've been finding it very difficult to keep on top of them all. It got very out of hand last time. We'll see how Monday goes. Over time, gear upgrades will help. It'll make it more comfy. We can take a hit or two. We'll get the shield down faster so he doesn't get any heals off. But at the moment, we just need to refine those mechanics. No. There you go. Let's keep getting these scouts out of here. Love that underpin group. Come here, fellas. Let's get a defensive buff going. Because last time we walked in at these, they nearly bodied me immediately. Weren't standing it, they battered each other. Ridiculous hobgoblins. What do you think comes first? Playable ogres or playable hobgoblins? I hear people talk about wanting playable ogres all the time over the years. Hobgoblins, less so. But I imagine they'd use a similar rig. For ogres, it very much depends. Are you going to give people the customization to put two heads on? I imagine the next playable race will probably be either Ethereals by the end of next patch, assuming that's what we're doing. Or we'll get the Haranir to come through with Olwenya, assuming she comes with us to all the ethereal things next. Haranir have enough customization options that screams we're going to be a playable race one day. Exactly, that's always the issue, isn't it? WoW's had its, like, for lack of a better term, AI stretcher. How they stretch Worgen the helmets on Worgen and stuff like that. I think it's an easier problem to solve on ogres than it would be for, say, Naga, that a lot of people want. Though, you have to remember, with the Drakthea, they kind of scooted that problem. It was just like, oh, in your dragon form, you only wear a belt and shoulder pads, which has always been a little bit disappointing. Like, the Drakthea are cool, don't get me wrong, and the changes where you can now fight in your Visage humanoid form help if you want to have your gear visual a little more. But still, it's an odd feeling. Like, I don't know why said prior technology doesn't work on the Dracphere. I don't know if they've ever gone out and said it in a blue post as to why. Especially because they must have known that down the line they were going to open the racial up to more classes than just the Evoker. Also, if an ogre had two heads, that's something to consider. Do you put the helmet on one head? Do you pick which head? Do you avoid helmets altogether? Does it bug out as they're testing it? And the helmet goes in the middle of both heads? Each head wears half a helmet. There's lots of ideas, but in terms of practicality and how viable it would be, who could say? Grab me another mushroom. Delicious drink.
Like it.
Two different helmets. Now the world of transmog suddenly explodes. Everybody's playing ogres because I get two helmets. I see so many like dual themed armors. I suppose it would work in the same way that shoulder transmogs can these days. Just click an option. Transmog each helmet separately. Race change on every character and account of ogres. That's some dedication. I'd have one. Sure, I'd have one like I try and have one of everything. Mainly just to get all the heritage armor though. The option is you go a little smaller, you go Rexar's Mock in the Fall. Like that in between half ogre, half orc race, but I imagine that would probably just... I don't know. I think that probably wouldn't be unique enough compared to where orcs are currently at. And orcs have loads of customization these days. They're doing real well for themselves. So adding Mock the Fall might feel more like just an option you put in rather than a full allied race. Still, it's been a bit. It remains to be seen. I imagine unless it's a full patch feature, that there isn't much dev room to wiggle to another race. Again, I imagine the Ethereals or the Haranir will be baked into the story. Not as a necessary addition, but one that makes sense at the time, you know? I'm still salty we never got the Snake People race. The rock people love their Vulpera. I really wanted the Sekfris to get involved. They were really cool. What did the Alliance get when the Horde got Vulpera? Mechanomes, that was it. Listen, the statistics from what I understand are that very few people end up maining a Mechanome. And I don't know, I always felt like that could have just been an option for gnomes. And snake people would have been way more interesting. Maybe they just needed something to facilitate Mechagon and that entire zone, but you could have just had, oh, all the gnomes here use this customization. They are Mechanomes, but they didn't have to be an allied race. Now, some people would argue that with Urban. I think Urban are different enough. Or it kind of works. You've completed the first 10 floors on Past Dead and got pretty awful XP. Ooh. Maybe that's why I don't remember it. Maybe I did the same thing, started leveling through it and went, oh, I don't know about this. You'll have to have a Google. What is the most efficient or fun ways? What are the ways people get XP? I mean, that place is probably a way to do it. Just long, grindy, probably needs groups. I'm sure there'll be other avenues. No, exactly. You rarely ever see a Mechanome on the live game. Don't get me wrong, it was fun to level one up through Pandaria Remix. Having a Demonology Mechanome was kind of fun. And I've just been a human paladin for so long. I'd be tempted the day they make Night Elf paladins. I'd be tempted because Night Elf was my original main for my hunter. There's lore implications for it. We've got a Night Elf paladin about who was in the Order Hall. Worgen paladin that I want though. That's the dream. But knowing my luck, that'll come when bloody Worgen get tails. Which is probably never. Sadness. Dungeon spamming tends to be a way to go. Hope it's not too bad. And I imagine in a game where you don't have to make multiple characters and it's all just off your main, it's a lot easier to consider, right, I'm going to go and not make an alt, but I'm just going to take my main today and we're going to go level another class. It might be easier to find groups for such things. Pulled too many in that chest wraith. Does too much damage. Fine, we're paladin. Again, tier 11 in season 1, this would be me dead, but at the moment we seem fine. How many underpin groups are left? 1, and he's over there. Fantastic. No! You piece of garbage. I hate getting ledged in this game. At least it's not an immediate kill most of the time. Watch your health. See what I mean? Most of the damage just comes from auto attacks, and that never feels good. It's just slowly whittling away at that health bar. There we go. I wish there were more of these buffs as well. Like in that roguelike sense, where you get free options and can make yourself go crazy. But again, it's not meant to be get yourself overpowered. They're meant to be little bits of help. So I can understand why it isn't to that extent. Why it's not full Torghasti powers or... Thanks, Mushroom. That was really awesome. Or something more in the Hades vein where you can really put a bonus build together. As fun as that would be, delves are not that inherently. Especially if they want to keep it as an endgame gearing system, because then people are like, well, you just go and do your delves. No point doing mythic dungeons or raiding, you just go do your delves. Which, to be fair, is a complaint some people have now, but it's like... It's an avenue of endgame play. Who cares how other people play the game? It's not like they're just being handed out gear. Nor is it as reliable as raiding or mythic dungeons, but I can gear through it. I can put the time in. I can be rewarded for my efforts, and they've made me care about the gear game, which I haven't done in a very long time. Find the mushroom. Nope, don't stand in it. I stood in it, but it did no damage. It's fine. God damn squeaky mushrooms. They're so loud. Should be one more scout.
It's too far away.
Boink, boink. There you go. Be less mouldy. You goddamn plant. You tiny little beggar. Come here. Brand, please stop blowing up spores. Alright, and then the big spinny mushroom. Who's not too bad. As long as we don't stand in the big spinny, we're all good. Just sneakily get some of these curiosities. A little more drink.
Nice find.
Delicious. Right, let's have at you. I know, Bran. I love that like expression on its face when it spins, and it's all disoriented and upset. It's just a little tiny detail. He's going down pretty quick. I'll attack it. Mind the spin.
Smell that? It's treasure. I know it.
You're full of shit, Bran. Oh, you ran the other way. Good effort, Mushroom. Beautiful. Tiny army of robot T-Rexes. For the loot. Should check. I've got a load of these undercoins. I need to see what Sir Finley offers later. Might be some more transmog. Not an upgrade. Get Bran's abilities going. More curios. We've nearly got them all upgraded now. We've got like 2 left. And then we've maxed all them out.
Fantastic.
1 left. Our crests. We only need 1 more tier 11 technically for full 7, but I like getting the 4 done each week. Right, good job, team. Let's get ourselves over to the next one. Quick swig of his beverage. Just smack the tea mug onto the coaster. Alright, Krivor's Rest. If we get to this one, we will take a quick bio break and then we will continue with these last 2 for the morning. We'll be back with one to stop this evening. Should be the last stream of that one. It'll be bittersweet with a couple more drinks to make, but it's been a good old time. Alright. Oh, we haven't got our bounty map this week, but that's okay. Maybe we get one in here. Alright, stretch your legs, refill your beverage. I'll be back with you in just a few minutes. I'll see you soon. And we're back. Thank you for your patience. Get me headset back on. I'm listening to the chat. I got 5 levels out my first dungeon. I think it's clear what I should be doing. God damn it, MMOs. Why is dungeon spamming always the fastest way? But at least now you've clear indication. And a much faster way to level. I mean, maybe it'll be fun to mix it up and occasionally do the funky tower, but especially when it can have one-shot traps. Easier just to spam a dungeon. Guarantee those levels. Enjoy that new class. A swig of his beverage. Lukewarm, but still warm. I thank you for the Gouda, Bran. A bit of a hefty cheese for first thing in the morning, but there we go. Morning, Kynan. How you doing, bub?
Grab one of those enchanted candles to
Hope your day's going all right. Grab me some candle bundles. And which one was this? Picking up the candles. Oh, this is the one where you can't see enemies. And you have to keep putting the candle about because then suddenly, bang, kobolds in the darkness. I thought we can't see their candles. Ah, well, drive safe. Don't let me distract you too much from the road. I know you're a good driver. We're just doing our weekly delves. Get us some gear up. By the way, delves can get you gear to this point where, at the highest tier, you can even get mythic gear. Like I'm wearing the mythic helmet for my class set, which is pretty nice. Alright, we've had delves to go through. And then on Monday, I will be trying the delve boss once again. Don't know if you saw that last stream from Monday. Bit of a nightmare. Bit of a tough cookie, let's say. More just actually getting the mechanics right than damage numbers, though. So it's going to take some doing, some practice. But I'm all for it with time before Season 2 comes out. They did announce the next patch will be on the 22nd of April. But not all of the patches events will drop at the same time. The first one's just like a defense event, pardon me, that's coming to Hallowfall, where you fight more Nerubians. Second event, which comes a month later, on the 20th of May, which feels a little stretched for my liking. It's almost like we're going back to the time gating days that I thought we'd gotten away from. But that'll include horrific visions from Battle for Azeroth, which I never actually engaged with back then, so I'm actually really curious to give it a go myself. And then a few weeks after that, they've got like a little boss rush thing called Dastardly Duos, where you fight a few bosses at the same time. There's some leaderboards, there's some rewards. I'm not the biggest leaderboard person, but we'll see if there's some good transmog on offer. But with the launch of it, and this might be of interest to you, there will be a big leveling event. I don't know the specifics. If it's an overhaul in general, or if it is just a specific event to help people level a little bit. But something's coming. At some point I'll do a deeper dive into that. It's just because I've not got any characters to level these days. Not urgently. It's still my... The last allied race set I need is the Irvin. So there's still that to do. But to be fair, I was using that as an excuse to go through Legion. But now I'm thinking, well, Legion Remix will be coming at some point. Maybe I just delete and remake that character then, but we'll see. Ow. To the Weir Menace. Thank you, bastard. Beautiful. Okay, haste pot. Alright, I can kind of leave the candle in the centre of the room, that's fine. Oh, no I can't, I tell a lie. Wait for them both to group up, and we do our AoE. Steady. A little bit too close to the darkness. Do some potions, Bran. When they hit an object, they seem to take a chunk of damage. Nope, come this way, come this way. Go, tiny mech dinosaurs. Eat his face. How many is that? That is 2 nemesis groups.
Fantastic.
Dig out this chest. And yoink! Alright. Don't need to do the other kobolds. Not mechanic of this one to keep picking up new candles but then not having a duration, so you can just kind of keep them forever. It would be more challenging if once I placed a candle it was stuck there, rather than being able to just move them around willy-nilly. I'd actually have to consider them as a resource rather than just up and down, up and down. Cobalt exploded. I don't remember that.
Looking a bit rough. Take a wee rest.
Oh, thank you, Bran. Give me some of that Gouda. Wait for it. There you go. Delicious cheese. Onward. More hobgoblin. Whoa! That's the biggest thing I hate about numbers being the way to go. He turned around, punched me, it crit. 80% of my health. Half a second. That wasn't a plate user. That's just a dead mage right there. That's just gone. Runs over. Life's over, I suppose. I don't know if... Because we were talking about the potential of mythic delves earlier. Or something to bump up the difficulty. And I'd hope that new mechanics are the way to go, and they don't do something like you just have one life, good luck, and then some BS does you in like that. Or traps hidden in the darkness. Way down the bats. I still think more on where delves are going to be set in the upcoming expansions, like what enemies we'll be dealing with. In Midnight, I've no doubt it will just be constant voidy stuff. I don't know what else in the middle of Silvermoon you can put in there. Some Scourge-related stuff, like leftover remnants. We don't quite know how the rebuilding effort of Silvermoon's going to play out in-game. Whether the city's just all fully up and done, whether the giant scar going across all of Silvermoon down into the Ghostlands, like will the Ghostlands still be the Ghostlands? Like that kind of thing. There's a lot of questions still. So it's hard to really judge what environments will be there, but for Last Titan I think it's a lot clearer. Grizzly Hills, you've got your Fergbolt stuff, some bear caves. Got, oh, what's that zone called? Where the troll stuff is. Drax something or other. It's been a long time since I've been up to Northrend. But you can see that being there. There'll be Scourge stuff all up and about. Maybe we get some Draconic stuff in Dragonblight. Something to do, hinting at more Galakron things. A lot of possibility.
Grab one of those enchanted candles to stay safe from these shadows.
Alright, Bran. I'm listening in the chat, getting slapped by a golem for 9% LP with almost no counterplay is the definition of skill expression. Exactly.
That's more like
Damage number high, get booped in the face. I mean, it's better than some games have to rely on where you're just cheating. They are indeed renovating Silvermoon. That's kind of... It's where the next expansion is going to be set in Midnight, for the most part. We assume it's going to be our main hub city. We'll be defending... it was Chris Metzen who came on stage when he came back for a BlizzCon. We'll be doing our last stand against the Void in the Sunwell once again. We always end up back at the bloody Sunwell. But yeah, we'll be uniting all the Elven races. Might be a reason why the Haranir have come up and through. Ajara's likely to show up. Sylvanas is likely to show up. In the short story they did with Ilaria before the expansion came out, they put a lot of emphasis while she was visiting Silvermoon, which, by the way, Thoralion, current de facto High General of the Alliance, he's just chilling in Silvermoon. Now, obviously, he's a man out of time. He's been fighting across the universe for thousands of years. And before he left, he was pretty buddy-buddy with the High Elves. So, it'd be very different, I think, if it was Aldarian Rin going and just chilling in Silvermoon. Big difference. But even so, there's a lot of neutral relations there. Chris Metzen, the final boss of the War of Id. Oh, if only. In all likelihood, he will voice something for it. Makes me wonder if over the course of this trilogy, Brawl ends up getting done in at some point. He's been around so long. Or if, I mean, Metzen does other voices occasionally too. Like, he used to voice Ragnaros, but Matt Mercer does that these days, so... Trying to remember. I know he voiced Varian as well. We'll have to see. But it very much seems to be that we'll be spending a lot of time just in Silvermoon. And at the moment, it's not like we can bring back Dalaran. That idea is kind of dead in the ground, literally. So as far as neutral cities go, that can just be about Silvermoon's looking like the most likely. Maybe they just have a small alliance section. Put some player housing in Silvermoon seems like it'd be the way to go. Have a district that's one of these new player neighborhoods that they're wanting to build.
You're looking a bit rough. Take a wee rest.
Bran, I think I'm looking fine. It's fine. But with so much story kind of linked together and a lot more forethought going in, with a continuing story, elements of foreshadowing that they can actually act upon with intention rather than, oh, this kind of works. The more haphazard approach they had in the past with it. I still think we're going to have some surprises. At the very least, they've set themselves up story-wise to be capable of doing that. I don't think we're going to see a full change around and suddenly Queen Ajara is going to be on side or anything, but people are thinking next patch, with this rogue group of ethereals, if they're antagonists and we're not working with them, then maybe we work with Xalatath to fight them, because, you know, greater good, let's work together, they're going to blow up the world, like, who knows? Oh, cheers, Bran. Gives me 12 gold, I know he's keeping 80 himself. Absolute son of a gun. There we go, a bit more Gouda. Our revive spot. But still, you know, take. Bless the kobolds. There's that next allied race I want. Bugger ogres, Naga, and ethereals, give me kobolds. I mean, the novelty of it would only last for like a couple of days, but even so, they've come so far. Now, I don't think inherently a lot of the design goals for Shadowlands were necessarily bad, but the moment in any game or franchise you start looking into the afterlife, you run into a lot of problems. Like, initially the idea of going back and seeing old characters that have passed, I thought was really cool. And like in some of the campaign, like seeing the Ashbringer again, that was pretty cool from where I'm sitting. But it just didn't feel grounded enough. And the fact that Oribos kind of had you jumping through teleporters to, or big portals rather, to get from each zone to the other, created more of that sense of distance, alienation, and then just, as we said earlier, so much more. So much grey and skulls and metal spikes. I think if they did something Afterlife-y again, it would be completely different. You gotta remember, the way they set up Shadowlands lore-wise was an element of, these are just some of the realms of the dead. So in theory, you could do something completely different, but I reckon given how Shadowlands was received, that they are unlikely to ever do anything with it anytime soon. Like well over a decade until maybe they look at something again. Certainly characters I'd like to see, like that Venari broker person, who was like our broker, I suppose, within the Maw. I thought she was interesting. I didn't do enough more content to level her up and learn more of her story, but she seemed cool. See, I didn't do any of the raids in Shadowlands other than going back. So I never saw that Garrosh cutscene. Only heard people talking about it afterwards. Pretty good though. For Garrosh to, from what I remember of the voice line I heard, so angry in death, he wouldn't let them punish him. He wouldn't take that shit. Bless his traitorous heart. The absolute scumbag. I still find it funny seeing a guild. Garrosh did nothing wrong. And I'm like, no, he did. He come on, he did. But I understand that it was a... He won some people over. Would WoW be a game where such choices could be made by the player base, but such as it is. You still see players do stuff like when everything happened with Sourfang. Folks who went around taking off a shoulder pad, stand in solidarity. It's player moments like that that I absolutely adore. It's such a dumb little small role-playing thing, but it's beautiful. They did have that small quest line for Sylvanas loyalists. She kind of gave you a farewell. I think that's a very fair point, Emilis. It was a badass way to go. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. And for God's sake, they brought Kel'Thas back again in Shadowlands. It's like, of all the characters we could have seen. I still think they handled Arthas pretty well. There was a lot of folks who wanted Arthas to actually be involved in a way, but the idea of him being this faded spirit with nothing left to him, I thought was more apt. I think that was a good choice. And you've got to remember, everything that happened going through Battle for Azeroth, everything that happened with Sylvanas, a lot of that story work was set up by one dude in a room, one of the higher-ups, who didn't want any feedback from anyone else at the company, who didn't want any input from anyone else, and set up the broad strokes. And he turned out to be one of the abusers who got fired. You know, piece of shit, scumbag. So the team since then have just kind of, especially for Shadowlands, just had to deal with the cards they were dealt. Which doesn't necessarily excuse the situation of where Shadowlands ended up, but I have sympathies for it.
Fantastic.
No, what felt like it was... It was an underbaked expansion. Like, half of the story content was missing. Everything was Shatarath. Like, Urel's journey was only half done. And Garrosh kind of just got the short end of the stick and, oh, it's Gul'dan. He kind of got done in by Thrall in that Mok'Gora, which, again, very impactful moment. Very cool cutscene. but it certainly took the wind out of the sails. And not to mention, the whole start and premise of that expansion was set up in one of the novels. Like the whole trial, don't get me wrong, it was a decent read. It was solid. But it really takes away from the vast majority of your player base who won't read those novels. You know, who are not going to get the story in that way. And they're certainly aware of that issue these days, and they do a lot less of that. But it was a problem. And it's nasty business. I've still got the Plain Ice book that Dracian Schreier did, going into a lot of that stuff, sat on my desk over there. I just haven't got around to reading it yet. I really do need to get on with that, because I am really curious. Not to mention everything with Bobby Kotick, the piece of garbage, as well, on top of all that. May his golden parachute burn. I know Warlords of Draenor was, at first, seemed like in a similar vein to Shadowlands, honestly. Like, Realm of the Dead and Multiverse are very difficult things to land.
Nice fight.
And there was a lot of, like, I feel like that was one of the turning points for how they portrayed characters. Like, the Warlords of Draenor were handled really well. It was really cool seeing all these Orc leaders again, and how much they were involved in each zone and the story. But again, it just felt like we were missing the middle. Crying shame. I hope if they do a WoD remix one day. Ooh, our Delver's Bounty map. We'll be using that for our last one of the day. Very lucky. But if they do a remix one day for Warlords of Draenor, I hope they take the opportunity to add back in story that they couldn't get to, but I don't think they will. It sounds like that would be way too much work. It would have so many implications. Not everyone's going to play remix, yada, yada, yada. Not an upgrade. That's Warbound. Sadness. Look, more crests. Another curio for Bran.
Fantastic.
Oh, he's so happy. There's our Delve Weekly as well. One more to do, and it's one of the new ones. And it's my favourite of the new ones. Because it's Titan Ruins and Old God influence.
Fallside Outpost needs
No,
someone
Edelgard,
to
we're good.
scale the falls to find him.
To the Ringing Deeps. That'll be our last one of the day. But WoD was also one of those expansions where the content gap, memory serves, was one of the longest. Like, people went nearly, I think it was 8 months without a new patch. And compared to these days with the 8-week cadence that they've got nailed down for the most part, it's night and day. It's a gigantic difference. Shadowlands, to be fair, had a pretty long one as well, but you know, in Shadowlands' case, you have to account for COVID to some extent. It was WoW Classic that I think got them through a lot of that, and then the lead into Dragonflight. I think Dragonflight's a fantastic expansion. Wasn't to everyone's tastes necessarily, but that whole we're coming home, we're a little cozier. It's dragons. Who can't deal with dragons? From Emilus in chat, didn't they make Kargath Blade Fist a dungeon boss? I can't remember. Let's have a look. I mean, to be fair, in Burning Crusade, he was already a dungeon boss, and he was kind of garbage. Let's see. We had the train, we had the docks. Let's see if we can find him. He's not in the docks. Not in the spire. He's not on the train. Certainly not in the Everbloom. That's a whole thing, by the way. The Forces of Life invading Stormwind. Like, that's a whole side of it we've never, like, the folks from the Life Realm. The Arakoa, where have they been? Ogres, I mean, ogres pop up all the time. Ner'zhul was a dungeon boss, but that's fine. Terongor, first Death Knight being another one. Kargath was a raid boss in High Maul, by the looks of it. You had Blackhand in Blackrock Foundry. Kilrog in Hellfire, and Archimond. I thought Gul'dan was in here as well. Oh no, he turned up in Legion, didn't he? Then Illidan boops him at the end. I have fair enough. Other than the occasional LFR, I never wandered into the raids too much. Hard for me to remember. Why I hope with story mode they expand on it so I can do a whole raid very chill and actually enjoy the environment, see the story. Take my time looking about the place. Because so often, especially in LFR, you are just running and gunning through as quickly as humanly possible. Because that's what the group's doing. And if you fall behind, you're left behind. There's no opportunity to really soak it in. And when they put so much dev time into raid environments, you want the opportunity to soak it in and enjoy it. Now let me just get my bounty map turned on. There we go. I absolutely hated the Everbloom on Mythic Keys and Dragonflight. So annoying how they kidnapped you. I've never done it, so that's news to me. What do you mean they kidnapped you? Like Arthas's Valkyrie in the Lich King fight? Are people just picking you up and running away with you? Is it like a Bloodborne bad guy where someone comes over, boops you in the face and carries you off somewhere? Fascinating. Oh, speaking of, I know I just said it, but I love this place. Oh, we might have a new version of it. Maybe. Can't remember which ones I've done. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Right there, miss. My whole team's lost down there. Can you find him? Yeah, we'll find your team.
Smell that? It's treasure. I know it. Look
Bran,
close.
you are so full of shit. You always say that, and there's never treasure nearby. I wish I knew the radius of his nose, let's say, for lack of a better term. Where is this treasure? Can you ping it on the map? More black blood. Nope, not standing him. Tiny bag floating in the air. We'll take that in a moment. How about potion? Mind the ooze. The way it's kind of purple brain and jiggly reminds me, there was an old Power Ranger film. I know, a wild tangent. But the villain was just this guy called Ivan Ooze. And it's a silly film. It's really dumb and it's really daft, but for whatever reason, I remember really enjoying it as a kid. I was always a big fan of Power Rangers, to be fair. It's just one of those... Evergreen the right word? It's one of those franchises that just lasted. Now, there have been many, many, many of those. Too many, one might say. And I know it, like, that whole kind of genre originated in Japan anyway. But OG original Power Rangers, to be fair, I've got a real soft spot for... Oh, it was one of the animal ones. Wild Force. Theme song. Comes very clearly. But yeah, that Ivan Ooze villain was goopy and hellish in a way that was delightful. Oh well, I'm not rescuing this team member, I am just murdering them outright. Emilus in the chat. So I don't exactly remember, but I think there was a mechanic where trash mobs could cast vines on you and literally snatch you away. Either that or it was a 20-second stun. Ew. Ew, don't like that. 20 seconds in the... Long time. Too long. You, other survey member. Oh, I guess booping them did it. Let's get rid of this well-connected friend. Don't call your agent. Cannot help you. God damn it. I hate uninterruptible moves like that. I don't want you to summon more ads. Today. 10 seconds is still a hefty amount of time to be sat doing nothing in a game where your button presses are pretty constant. And again, on Mythic where the stakes are so much higher, I understand. I lived it, but I understand. Must be a constant consideration. I know they did a poll recently on like what war within dungeons do you want to see for the next Mythic season, and a lot of folks picked one that was more for like the trinket drop rather than what the dungeon is, which is I don't know. That seems like missing the point a little bit. I don't know. I'm sure it was a really strong trinket, but surely the design and the encounters and all of that means more than just... Again, for that part of the player base where gear is so important and getting that gear efficiently is so important, I get it. It's just... I don't know. It's a little disappointing. Whether or not that poll actually has any bearing on what Blizzard do. Maybe they just say, right, a load of you have voted for this trinket. We're just going to put that trinket in one of the others. But again, it's not exactly something that's in my bailiwick of understanding, so... Couldn't give the most informed opinion on the matter. Speak to Delves.
That's more
And
like
wanting rated battlegrounds to actually be worth doing. That'd be nice. Oh, rare out of nowhere. He's just hiding behind a mushroom. More than anything, this dude's just overly tanky. Interrupt the cannon. Avoid the dash. Eh. Get autoed a little too hard. I'm the red blue. Why? Why are you so tanky? Thank you, Bran, for the potions. I can't remember the boss in here, regardless of the variant of the Delves story, quote unquote. There's always been a big... Oh god, what's the word? I'm blanking. Bulu looking guy? What's the name for them in WoW? God damn it. I should know this. Tentacles and... Not old gods, they have a name. Dark ones. You know the fellas I mean. But he's basically... The only thing to worry about there is he's got a buff where once he gets it, you have to run. Because he will 1 or 2 shot you. By booping you in the snoot. It's like a 100% damage increase or something. These aberrations. Oh no, I pulled too many groups. The mitigation, get a bit of that. Eee, Bram, where's those potions? He had to emergency supply. That's not a good sign. Start AoEing. Pray. We may have to booble. That's what I get for being cocky. No, don't lure me into a black hole. No. That's interesting. Not the most threatening, but it's interesting. It needs more of a combo of abilities to actually make it a threat, though. Like if he did whatever this smash he's doing where I have to avoid tentacles and avoid bits whilst trying not to run into the black hole, sure. More likely to nab me at that point. Fine, we're fine. Come here, Goblin. Don't be driven to madness by old gods. I know it's what they do, but come on. Just something. Xalatath seems to be so opposed to the old gods in general. And Azeroth seems to, with his, like, 12D chess, know from when we took a trip to the past how things are going to play out. But at some point, either Azeroth is going to show up again, or we're going to work alongside him, maybe, to deal with Xalatath. That seems like something that could happen in Midnight, but... Again, it seems like the Old Gods plan and the plans of the Void at large aren't necessarily the same. A lot of possibility, and I've always liked Azeroth, and maybe I'm biased because he's voiced by Darren DePaul, and he's a joyful old fella. An absolute delight of a man. Same guy who voices Reinhardt, if you didn't know, from Overwatch, and he's done plenty in the games industry. You will have heard his voice somewhere. Saw him play D&D on Crit Roll once, and he's just a delightful old fella.
Fantastic.
Very boisterous. Full of energy for someone of that age. Get these two to boop each other. Kinda worked. Still 3 groups of these? Oh, I only missed one, have I? Right, you alright, Goblin? Let's get you free. I'm out of here. Thanks for knocking the sanity back into me. You're welcome. How's the boss? A little ways down. Dead heal. There we go. Get me potions. Lay the ass. So pretty straightforward. I think the biggest problem with putting difficulty up on the more solo focused content is what we saw from the PTR for Awaken the Machine. Like, that event apparently on the PTR was a lot more difficult, but people kept saying, oh, it's too hard, nerf it, it's too hard, nerf it. And it's like we were saying the other day about the Cataclysm Heroics. People just would not engage with what seems to me to be pretty simple mechanics.
Found a bit of gold.
And so it's always a really weird balancing act. And when you've got a player base of this size, you have to bear that in mind. And can you afford the development time to put in different modes of difficulty? I think with Delves, you have the opportunity with just the tier system to just make the mode as difficult as you can. And then as you go down tiers, just pull mechanics away. If it's tier 4 or under, have the mechanics be very minimalist. Number of enemies smaller, less big groups spawn, that kind of thing. As you get up to tier 8, add a couple more in. When you go from tier 8 to 10, make it a lot more challenging. Hit tier 11, do some crazy mythic style stuff. As we were saying, not just numbers. And listen to the chat, I do like his whispers. Whispers, rather. Old God whispers have always been a joy, and Azeroth has just been so like a thick treacle in the ear. I think the first time hearing those kind of things, I can't remember if it was Cthulhu back in the day. Well, certainly Yogg in Ice Crown, when you were mining too much Saronite, just occasionally leaning in and going, your friends will abandon you. And you're like, no, they won't! What do you mean? Just hanging out with your guildies. Betray them. You're like, no, no. But I do love the whole Eldritch horror thing that the Old Gods have going on. I really wish they leaned more into it. Like, Ny'alotha as a raid seemed really cool visually just because of that. I do need to actually go and do that raid at some point, just to walk in and have a look about. I know they've repurposed it a couple of times for other bits of content, because just seeing Black Empire stuff, like, again, just looking here at what's going on in the background. This Time Ruins getting these Old God plants just kind of going through and being nasty. Want more of it, please. I'm hoping Horrific Visions give me that. I know it's content people have seen before, but because I've never seen it, and from what I understand, there used to be a timer associated with it, so you were really incentivized for the best gear to rush through them. Now there's not gonna be a timer, and there are some secrets about. So I'm actually really eager to go and get involved there. No, Black Hole. No, no. Thank you. Put those tentacles away. This is a family-friendly stream for the most part.
What's up?
One minute I was normal, the next I was going crazy. Get him out of here. Alright, boss time. Find those squids. No, god damn it. Get some T-Rexes. Not my little army of mech T-Rexes has grown on me. They do alright. And the fact they come out as different colours. Emilus, that's a fantastic point. I really wish the Nylofer scale was way bigger. The Black Empire looked like the Black Village. Oh. A new boss in here? I've only seen the other one. Hello. They used this model in the story, but I haven't seen it anywhere else. It's very nice. Eyes upon eyes. An eye tentacle. A back tentacle. And a teeth tentacle. That's not cool at all. That's not cool at all. Hey, but hey, it's a new boss. Will its mechanics do me? Now let's think about this. Tentacle bosses deal with the tentacles first. Eyeballs tend to be worst. If we're thinking like D&D Beholder stuff, we deal with the eyeball, we deal with the teeth, we take the boop one, then we hit the main body. Probably. Let's see how we go. Yep, that's 4 health bars. Okay, the tentacles move around. You are just shooting beams at me, that's fine. Keep an eye out for a cast. Okay, he's putting stuff on the floor. And a boop line on the floor. I didn't get the potions. Sorry, Bran. Oh, and he burrows around. What's that little buff on him? Wounded. All damage taken increased by 100%. Okay, is that going to happen for each tentacle I knock down? Yes, it is. The tentacles, other than a little bit of dodge on the floor one time, aren't really doing much. The other boss feels like it was more threatening. All 3 are dead. He's taking a load more damage. Wrecked eyeball stalk. I don't like the noise it's making. I mean, I do, but it's good design when I don't like it. You big old squiggle, come here. Right, and he's just kind of slapping me. This is what I mean. I'm on tier 11. This should be doing shit that has me running around losing my head. It's being like, ah! Not just occasionally putting stuff on the ground that lands nowhere near me. Now that should at least make me move. Disappointing. Zelang the many. The many disappointment. Down you go. Oh, I still have one more version of this delve to go. Apparently. Well, sadness. Eyeball stalk. Sadness. At least it was a new environment. Different arena to fight him in. I can appreciate that. Imagine Last Titan is going to be full of this kind of architecture. Let's get all our goodies. See if we get an upgrade. Head back to Donegal and call it for the morning. Oh, I didn't get every nemesis either. I missed one group. Ah, well. It's fine. Not an upgrade. It's going to be hard to find an upgrade. Our hidden trove might have one, though. Delver's bounty. Open 10 troves using the bounties. Okay. Got a hero necklace. I already had a hero necklace. Robbed. Garbage. God damn it. You hate to see it. But such is gearing RNG. And we have plenty of crests to be upgrading our stuff with. Back to Donegal. And I've got to do my real life daily quest of checking radiators and boiler pressure. Right, let's go hand these in. There you go, Elise. I'll say it every time. Please just take your Hearthstone voice. Don't know why that's difficult. Bran, gives that chest. 3k gold's fine. Right, Reno, you should have some stuff for me. Customization for our dirigible. Which again, I just don't care about the dirigible. In Dragonflight, it was really cool finding bits and ways to upgrade your dragon. In Undermine, I just don't care about this little air balloon. Yeah, I'll do the double question mark delve to try and get the gold-plated version or shadow version or whatever they've done this time, but I don't know, it's just odd. Balloon. Green unlocked. Pipes unlocked. A harpoon. I'm sure for someone it's made their day. But for me it's not. Right, so Finley Mergleton. You had some stuff as well, didn't you? You had more stuff for the dirigible. I've got 14k of these coins. I should spend them on something. What else have we got? We have a companion. Saw that. Toy. Meh. A backpack, which is just an angry goblin head in front of some backpacks. I mean, it's well made, but it's not something I'd wear. How much of these old ensembles do I need? Because these Arathi sets were fantastic. And the weapons as well. I can't get all of these, but I can get 2 of them. I'm going to get the male one because it looks really cool. I'm going to get the weapons. I love these big, like, get the whole transmog set. Ah, delicious. From trash to treasure. Collect the following cosmetic upgrades for the Delver's Gobtrotter. It's a fun name, I'll give him that. Alright, let's sell our remaining bits. Pardon me. Not exactly, Emilis. It's one of those things where it's like, maybe if it had come out before Dragonflight and the dragon customization, maybe we'd be a little more generous to it. Maybe we'd be kinder to it. But after Dragonflight and just the sheer amount you could do, it's lackluster. And even then,
My directive is to serve you.
it ain't for me. Get all our bits into the bank. How's my gear tab looking? Eee. Gonna be busting that enchanter out soon by the looks of it. Oh boy. Or at the very least running through our different 80 alts and getting them all equipped a little bit. Lovely. Probably put some of my money in here. Let's deposit 10k just so others have a bit more breathing room. We're still a lifetime away from the 50k we need to get the next Warbank tab. I hate it so much. We'll just have to put time into actually being engaged in the auction house and the WoW economy. Maybe one day. Alright, with that though, for the morning folks, I will say thank you very much for watching. For those of you who've come along live and those who'll watch later, thanks for giving me your time. If you've enjoyed yourselves, don't forget to hit that like button. Help pushes the video through the algorithm so more folks can come hang out, play some games with us. Subscribe for more content here on the channel. On the weekdays we're at 9 AM GMT with World of Warcraft, and in the evenings between 4 and 6 we start up with other games. We'll be back to Wanderstop this evening, probably the last stream for that, and you can find playlists to all the games we've already covered, WoW patches, oh goodness me, all there, right here for your binge to your heart's content. Just go a couple tabs past the video one on YouTube, you'll find them all there in the playlist section or scrolling through live. So until next time folks, much love, take care, enjoy your weekend, and bye bye.
So, an orc walks into a bar with a parrot on his shoulder. The bartender says, "Hey, where'd you get that?" The parrot says, "Duratar, they got 'em all over the place."